Hey guys, and welcome back to Cultured Boys, a show where two guys just want to have a chat. I'm Nathan, and as always, I'm joined by Pepe, and keeping up with a year of promises. I had to do my part. I said to Pepe at some point, and I'm pretty sure we said it on recording, that I would watch this film, and I made good on my promise.
Yep, and if anyone hasn't heard the episode before, I think it was in talking about our favorite films and what makes a good movie.
Yeah, about 6 episodes-ish ago.
Yeah, like we talked at night, and if you haven't watched it, Nightmare Before Christmas is one of my favorite movies.
Yes.
Today we're talking about said movie, and is also Nathan's first time watching it.
Yes, it is. It's a Cultured Boys first. Yeah, man, never seen that film up until now.
Yeah, it's one of those ones, right, which like it's quite funny about Nightmare Before Christmas, because when it launched in 1993,
Yeah, I can't believe it was 93. Like, that's nuts.
93, so it's a really old film, but when it launched, it actually, like, it did alright, but it wasn't like gangbusters. It wasn't like hugely popular as a film. It actually kind of underperformed. However, as the years went on, it slowly grew in popularity, and it became like that kind of cult classic that like everyone kind of knows as today. Like, yeah,
I was gonna say, like, it definitely feels like a cult classic.
yeah.
I don't know, to say cult classic sometimes now also feels strange, because I feel like not everybody, but I feel like at least online, like at one point this film was talked about quite a lot. I feel like.
It has 100% grown in popularity, like, over the years. Like, even when it first launched, like, obviously, as like I said, it wasn't a popular movie, but then over time this thing just grew and grew, and it's probably like through word of mouth. Like, at the end, like, you can walk into like almost like any like random merch store now, and you'll find something Nightmare Before Christmas related.
Yeah.
That's what it's like now. It's so stylistic. It's Tim Burton, and you know what that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Tim Burton always has like such a unique style of things. So, like, contrary to
I don't even know what how would you describe a Tim Burton style thing, you know? Like, I
Oh,
don't know, it's like a weird sort of like goth.
it's
I like.
gothic cartoony kind of thing where it's like kind
Yeah.
of like straight edges. It's like very like angular. Like, there's always a straight line. There's never like a curved line in a Tim Burton drawing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Apart from Jack Skellington, probably is the only thing. Like, but it's all very like linear, I'd say. But gothic.
I feel like, yeah, gothic is like the word I'm looking for.
That's what you want to take from it. That's the word you want to take from it. It's unique. If you saw a Tim Burton drawing, you'd be like, that's a Tim Burton drawing, or even a Tim Burton film. Like, you would.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if you see any of his films, you're like, that's Tim Burton. That's him.
It's like like a little bit gothic, quirky kind of thing where it's like
Yeah.
you can tell like there's an underlying like uneasiness in a Tim Burton like, piece. You know what I mean? I think the film I always take from is actually Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, like the Johnny Depp one.
I didn't like that one.
Have you never seen that one, or you didn't like it? Did you say?
No, I don't like that one.
So it's because, like, you know, like when they're going through like the tunnel, like, all the chocolate tunnel, all that kind of thing.
Yeah.
There's like that kind of the music as well is like kind of like underlying creepy kind of thing.
See, I thought you were gonna say like Batman, because Tim Burton did a Batman.
I'm not too familiar with Tim Burton's Batman films. I know that obviously they're huge, but like I'm not familiar with them.
You can definitely tell which ones are his, for sure.
Yeah. Danny DeVito's in the Tim Burton one, right?
Yeah, he's the Penguin. Like, I just mean, like, stylistically, you can tell which ones are like, oh, those are Tim Burton, because it's like, oh, something, it's Batman, but it's like, something's off. Something's weird.
That's it. It's like there's always something like slightly off about Tim Burton. Not off is in a bad way, but like there's like something where you're like, oh, that's a bit different.
Yeah, like, why is it, sometimes I feel like, for me personally, I'm like, and not in a bad way, like Pepe said, but it's just, why it look like that?
It's stylistic. It's 100% stylistic in his choices of like doing things. And it's always like, wow, that's such a strange way of going about things, or strange way of doing things.
Yeah.
But it's never a bad way, I don't feel. I don't like, unless you're really like, oh, that's really put me off. It's always a very quirky way of.
I mean, Danny DeVito's Penguin did put me off as a kid.
Oh, really? I mean, that is kind of freak.
It's creepy, man.
Oh, yeah.
He looks creepy. Like,
Good job, though.
yeah.
I remember I haven't seen. I'm not too familiar with him, but I do remember Danny DeVito's Batman. Danny DeVito, Penguin. I
Wow.
mean,
Now that's a choice.
Danny DeVito's Batman would be an interesting one.
So anyway, I started blasting.
we need like a Photoshop of Danny DeVito Batman now. That's what
I'm sure that somewhere that
Frank
exists
Reynolds.
already.
Frank
Yeah, right.
Reynolds
Like
Batman.
surely that exists somewhere, but
If not, Nathan, I'm holding it to you. If I don't see a Frank Reynolds Batman in this episode, I'm going to be very upset. But we're not here to talk about those Tim Burton pieces.
yes.
We're here to talk about Nightmare Before Christmas. And Nathan, I'm curious to hear your initial thoughts on this and like how you felt about this movie.
Okay. Before we get into it,
Yes.
is it worth doing a breakdown?
Yeah, have a little break. Is it worth doing a breakdown? I was about to say, yeah, have a little breakdown is what I was about to say, but that sounds very traumatic. No, Nathan, if you give us a rundown of the film, give us like what is Nightmare Before Christmas?
So, like Pepe said, Tim Burton released 1993. Disclaimer, I took this from the Disney Plus description, so that's why it's gonna sound much like I'm trying to sell the film.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna close my eyes. I'm gonna close my eyes and imagine it as if I could. Go on.
Okay. Enter an extraordinary world filled with magic and wonder, where every holiday has its own special land. This is the heartfelt tale of Jack Skellington, the Pumpkin King of Halloween Town, and all things that go bump in the night. Bored with the same old tricks and treats, he yearns for something more, and soon stumbles upon the glorious magic of Christmas Town. When Jack decides to bring this joyful holiday back to Halloween Town, his dream to fill Santa's shoes unravels, and it's up to Sally, the ragdoll who loves him, to stitch things together again. There you go.
God, they put a lot more effort into it than say Mal or Wikipedia. I'll tell you that way. That is a very like
It's very succinct, like
yeah. That's a
in the major points, but it's pretty funny. Like Pepe said, I tried to find the best ones, right? And most of them were just like 2 sentences, like Jack Skellington left Halloween Town and is trying to take over Christmas, but things go wrong, and I'm like, that's shit.
yeah.
That's terrible.
This is very descriptive. This is like a blurb on the back of a book. Like you pick up a book in a store, like that is.
Do you know what this feels like? This feels like you bought the VHS or the DVD or something, and you read it, like you said, the back of the box.
100%.
But yeah, that's just had to throw it out there. That's why this is the best description I could find. But God, does it sound like I'm trying to sell the film?
This is literally the best description we've probably ever read in a Cultured Boys episode of like when we're talking about a series. But yeah, so Nightmare Before Christmas is like yes, it's what Nathan said, a whole rundown of Jack's basically boredom of Halloween and taking over Christmas. But it is also a musical,
Yes.
very like wide range.
It's very typical of the era for Disney, to be fair.
100. It's one of the things that like Disney actually didn't want to sell this as a Disney piece either. So they, I think it was Touchstone.
I could see that.
Touchstone Productions was the thing that launched it, so it wasn't a Disney movie. However, it's very Disney-esque in the ways it has a musical piece every 5 minutes.
I could see why they wouldn't want to do that. Like, again, if you sort of know, and like Pepe and I do from media studies, Touchstone at the time was Disney's like other brand for more adult or like mature content that they didn't want to chuck on as like Disney.
Yeah.
Because, at the time, Disney was all like happy animated films that are musicals. Whereas like this, I could see why they didn't want to do that and why they put it out as Touchstone.
Yeah. What it really does, it feels aimed at teenagers. This is a film that like you're kind of getting into your older kids are kind of getting there. And it's like, for example, like when I was going through my teenage phase, I was very much heavily into Nightmare Before Christmas. I've been into Nightmare Before Christmas since I was a kid, but in my teenage years, that's when it really like hit home for me. Like I was buying a lot more merch and stuff of it.
I mean, I guess so.
Yeah.
Personally, I couldn't pin down a age range. I don't know,
No.
maybe like pre-teens, somewhere around maybe 8 to 10, maybe
Yeah.
11 years old. You know, like that very small window in between you're a kid and now you're a teenager.
Yeah, but like to put this under the Disney brand, for them that would be a very risky move, especially you have stuff like
Yeah, like 93 for fuck's sake. That's, I mean, around then it's probably, I don't know, like your Aladdins and stuff, you know, like some of the, in that early 90s, that's like some of the big ones, you know, Aladdin, probably, Lion King, Little Mermaid, I think was around then as well.
possibly, yeah. But like to put this film amongst
Yeah.
all those is very risky. In a film like that is like looks like it takes inspiration from like something like Chucky from half the time, with some of its like character designs and some of it.
It's the complete opposite of like that time period at Disney. Again, like
Yeah.
Disney then is all colorful and happy to a certain extent. You know, tragic things happen in some of these Disney films from the time, but like mostly it's like colorful, happy, and there's lots of upbeat music.
Yeah.
Whereas like this is dark
Yeah.
and like creepy, but not in a like, oh my god, it's so scary. It's just creepy because it's like Halloween stuff.
Yeah, it's written very like whimsically as well. Like the way that Jack sings, it's very like kind of theatrical.
Yeah.
It's written obviously by Danny Elfman. He's the one that sings, and he's Jack's voice in the songs. However, he's not Jack's voice in the actual whole movie itself, like all the speaking parts. Yeah.
That was also pretty typical for back then.
Yeah.
I think they still sometimes do that. Like the voice actors and the singing voices sometimes aren't the same.
Yeah. Well, that's I've watched the show on Netflix. Talked about the movies, like some of the biggest movies out.
Yeah.
And they did an episode on Nightmare Before Christmas, and they found that Danny Elfman actually wanted to voice Jack as well, but he actually wasn't good enough to do it. So they still got him to do it. So even though Danny Elfman wrote the songs, sang the songs, in terms of voice acting, it wasn't. Yeah, he wasn't cut out for the job. So they got another person to do it.
Do you find that's hilarious? Like he literally is the composer of the film.
Yeah.
Still is the singing voice. And it's like you've basically done almost all of the important, like, you know, the musical things here. Don't be a speaking voice though.
No, that like they literally just said nah, it's not it. It's just it isn't performing.
Get back to writing and singing, Danny. Get out of here.
That was his first ever film score as well. This is like one of his first ever. Like it's back.
Nuts. That's really good.
Like first time he's debuted in like I think singing like as that kind of thing. Well, no, he was in the band called Oingo Boingo before.
Yeah.
So yeah, so he's quite big. Yeah.
I mean, like he's got experience, but I mean, like, you know, it's like still kind of nuts. Like if that's his like first, if it's his first like theatrical score, and it's like it's pretty good.
It's bad, isn't it? It's good, but yeah, that's a lot of the behind the scenes stuff to talk about. What is your like? What are your thoughts on the film, Nathan? I'm curious of what you thought of this. Watching this literally 30 years after its release.
Yeah, I mean, well, that's the craziest thing is that this film is almost as old as I am.
Yeah,
I'm like literally like 10 months older than this film or some shit. Like, I like this. Right now, I watched it like 2 days ago, and the claymation, like stop motion, like really holds up because it's like it's pretty smooth already, right? And I think it's just something about like the physical aspect of it really lends very well to like the Halloween eerie vibes that they're trying to portray.
Yeah,
And like honestly, in 2023, it looks pretty good still.
it holds up, don't it? It holds up as like that kind of film.
I know that's always a thing amongst film buffs is like, you know, practical effects versus CG effects. But like, honestly, I think this really, really did well with the visual style. I think if this was like 2D cell animation like everything was back then, I'm not sure how much I would have enjoyed it now in 2023.
No, yeah, it's one of those ones like I feel like the claymation kind of like all the like all the stop motion that goes with it basically, or like it is just like it fits the piece so well as well.
Yeah, do you know what it is? It's because oh god, this sounds so pretentious. It gives it texture.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, it does. Yeah,
like yes, animators are great. They work really hard and like you can put across like a lot in animation, like hand-drawn animation. But there's something about this that I'm like, no, because like it is the physical texture of like actual items. It's like some of the characters are wearing, you know, actual like little burlap sacks.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something, yes, you could draw that, but like seeing it physically, the depth and the texture of everything, and how everything sort of like interacts with each other. Again, because I think it's because it's Halloween Town, it really, really, really like serves the motif very well.
Mm.
Whereas like I felt like when he got to Christmas Town, I was like, yeah, you didn't. Christmas Town probably you could have got away with like hand drawn. I didn't need the claymation so much in Christmas Town. Like again, because it's all like snow and stuff, and I'm like the texture of the world there didn't feel as necessary.
I get you, yeah.
Obviously, you're doing a production, so everything has to just be like cohesive, and it's the 90s, so there's fuck knows how much money it would have cost to be like, right, so this half or this place is claymation, and this is hand drawn. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, that would be,
to mix mediums in the 90s, not that they didn't do it, but I'm like, for a film that they didn't even want to put out as Disney,
yeah.
there is no way they would have ever signed off on that.
Yeah, I feel like that you're so right in the fact that like this style certainly brings out Halloween Town so much more in terms of like, you know, like the little bits of like the scariness, the spookiness of Halloween Town. And I think that's the whole contrast between it and Christmas Town, because Christmas Town is so clean and it's so bright and colorful.
I think that's why I think it could have been like hand drawn
Yeah.
Christmas Town, because it's all like uniform and it's snow and it's the green huts and all that.
But you know that like with Halloween Town, that is supposed that the stuff that goes in there, like that whole design of Halloween Town is so spooky. Like all that, like you said, the texture and like the all design elements that go into it.
It's the realism in it.
Oh yeah.
Honestly, it is the realism. It's like you feel like because you can see everything made out of real items, that you're like, I can imagine this world. Because, like, again, from the previous movies episode,
Yeah.
before I watched this film, the only experience I had with this was Kingdom Hearts.
Oh yeah, yeah.
In Kingdom Hearts, yeah, you explore Halloween Town and you go to the areas and stuff, but like it's still, even with 3D models and stuff, like yes, you can texture it, yes, you can do the lighting, but there was always just, it felt too clean and it felt kind of flat. And I only realized that now because I'm like, oh, I've watched the film and I'm like, it's just sort of missing that, I don't know, like that soul of it or something, you know, like it's just missing that something to make it just be like, yes, now it's like top tier.
Yeah, it's that very like it is that stylistic choice which is perfect for that film, and doing it any other way, you know that it's probably in its best form right there, doing that stop motion compared to something like in a video game where you're doing 3D.
Yeah. Again, I think it's because like in the 3D, it's like, yes, you can make as detailed a texture as you want.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, you can make as detailed as a model as you want, but there's just something about it. Everything still is too clean about it.
Mm-hmm.
And Halloween Town, now that I've seen it, Halloween Town needs to feel a little chaotic. It needs to
Yeah.
feel a little messy and a little out of place, and like something is going to happen around every corner.
Yeah, that is it. That's the whole vibe, and I think that's what really like does lend it to it. The fact that like this film, like with Halloween Town, it's so dark and grey.
Yeah.
There's no like bright orange. There's no like, oh, what's this kind of thing. It is literally like you get your like muted colors in there, and that's what like this place does the best. And it's like you only get like certain bits of color, like in certain places, like in Oogie Boogie's lair and stuff like that. That's where a lot more of the colors come through, and that's where it comes a bit more like I don't know, kind of like I don't want to say like Day of the Dead, but it is that kind of there's more those kind of colors that come through. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it becomes more. For lack of a better word, with Oogie Boogie, it's that it becomes a little more psychedelic.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. Yeah.
And I guess that's specifically the choice because he's the boogeyman, so he's trying to freak you out.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone in Halloween Town's trying to freak you out, but like there's something about Oogie Boogie, even the way he speaks and his songs are like, they've got a different vibe to the rest of Halloween Town. So like being that sort of psychedelic colors and stuff, it kind of lends more to it, I feel like.
It's kind of like that psychotic kind of mood in a way where it's like obviously Halloween Town, like they even say in the first song that like they want to scare people but they're not mean.
Yeah.
Whereas Oogie Boogie is literally the epitome of evil. He's like, yeah, I'll freaking like gamble and then I'll throw people in lava, I'll eat whatever. Like,
Well, he is also a mass of bugs.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, big bag of bugs.
literally a bag of bugs. But yeah, I loved it. To be fair, it was
Oh, mate.
it was a nice like. Even though I didn't watch it when I was a kid, it was like a nice nostalgic romp
Yeah.
through like Disney of the era. I really did for like did all the research after I watched the film.
Mm-hmm.
So when I was like 93, and then I was like, yeah, that makes sense. Like it was great to just sort of sit there and watch a nice film where it's like musical. They sing for no reason, and there's stuff happens, but it's not like bad. Well, some of it's bad.
Oh, okay. Hold on. Let's see. What bits didn't gel with you?
Not bad as in like, oh, I didn't like it. I meant like bad as in like, you know how like in Lion King, it's like technically bad things happen.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Mufasa dies, Simba gets, or like he runs away, like exiled, quote unquote. Like in this, it's like nothing really bad happens because Jack goes and discovers, but then it's like, no, he does ask the kids to go and kidnap Santa, and he does try his best to replace Santa, but he also gets shot down by essentially the military. So it's like to say bad things don't happen is wrong.
Yeah.
Bad things do happen. It's just in between a lot of the other bits.
Yeah. The whole bit where Jack actually becomes Santa and like goes over like the real world delivering presents is one of the funniest parts of the movie for me because my favorite bit is just seeing the kids' reactions to all these toys. And
Oh my
I
God.
think one of my favorite ones is like there's this kid watching his Christmas tree getting eaten by a snake.
Yeah.
And it's literally he's screaming, but his head is like shaking in such a way it's like ah! You can't no one can see what I'm doing right now, but it's like it's a rapid back and forth motion of it, and it just feels so memey to me.
That whole section is kind of just funny in itself
Oh yeah.
because like you have the running commentary of like the regular people, and it's like, oh, skeleton is going around imitating Santa Claus. Christmas is cancelled. Like, stay indoors and don't go outside. Like,
Turn your lights off and lock your doors.
yeah, it's just like, all right, it's just a skeleton. Like, skeleton dude's just trying his best to be Santa Claus, man.
No one really questions the fact that a moving skeleton has kind of come to plague everyone with a bunch of like evil gifts as well.
Also, like, amongst that same section, there was one thing that did confuse me.
Yeah.
At the start of the film, when they're doing the opening song, right? This is Halloween.
Mm-hmm.
Jack even at some point is like, I'm the living undead, right?
Yeah.
So why, when he gets shot down, does everyone in Halloween Town believe, oh, the Pumpkin King is dead? Jack is dead? It's like, are you not all the living undead? Are you not demons and shit? Like, he's not gonna die. He's a skeleton.
No, I guess because like it's the phrase "I blown to smithereens." I guess is the line that probably is.
I mean, yeah, but at the same time, like, what? He's not gonna die. Hell, you've got fucking Zero, who's a ghost dog. Why would he die?
Yeah, it's true. I guess it's like to put him back together. I guess is the thing. Like it'd be a lot of I don't know, gathering a piece of Exodia kind of vibe where it's like you gotta like.
But even then, that's not a great argument either, because that doctor is constantly making zombies.
He is making a lot of zombies. He's completely reviving the dead.
Sally is a zombie.
Yeah, they're all like they're
He makes a zombie wife.
of himself.
Exactly. So why did they think Jack is dead? It doesn't make any sense.
It's a very good point, though. I think like it's the fact that like it's in the real world as well. Maybe there's different rules in the real world as well. Maybe that's the thing.
Again, I'm just like,
Yeah.
to me, and maybe this is because I'm an adult now, so my brain works differently.
You question everything. Yeah.
I didn't suspend my disbelief enough, but you know what I mean? I'm just like, he wouldn't die.
You get that quick payoff as well. Like he gets shot down, and literally you just see him like 2 seconds later on a statue singing another song.
Yeah.
So like the payoff there is quite like minimal. Like, oh my god, is he dead? Oh wait, no, he's not dead. He's
But that's what I'm saying. It's just sort of like, oh, he's dead. And then the mayor's going around like, Jack is dead. Jack has been blown to smithereens, shot down, he's dead. And you're like, I mean, one, he's a skeleton. 2, he calls himself the Pumpkin King. So I'm like, I'm pretty sure he could probably just revive as a pumpkin.
Yeah.
Also, again, the Doctor makes zombies. He could put Jack together again. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
They got reasons. Like,
Maybe like I don't know all the rules of Halloween Town and what the thing is. This is one thing about Nightmare Before Christmas as well, is that like it's just the one film that we have to go off of and a video game.
yeah.
Like the sequel to Nightmare Before Christmas is a PS2 video game, which I find absolutely hilarious.
I saw an article recently. Apparently, there's a prequel and a sequel film.
There's a
Or they were planned or something.
yeah.
But there's something going around about a prequel and a sequel to this film, you know?
It's one of those ones where I feel like I would love to have more like lore to this universe.
Well, especially because they show other holiday towns and they show the Easter bunnies.
That is the thing that really intrigued me the most when I was a kid. It's the other
I did not like that Easter bunny, by the way.
oh, you didn't like the Easter Bunny?
No, it just looked kind of off. Looked weird.
I mean, it is a Tim Burton Easter Bunny. If anything's gonna look off and weird, it's gonna be a Tim Burton Easter Bunny.
Yeah, I just wanted to throw that out there.
What was it? What was weird about it? What was it? Just like, is there anything in particular?
I can't pin it down. It's just I look at it, I was like, I don't like that. I don't like it.
Luckily, it was only a small moment in that film.
Yeah, for sure.
But there's so like this is the thing that as watching this as a kid and absolutely loving the film, I was always like, I want to know what the other towns are like and all the other holidays and like
Yeah, right.
because obviously even in that intro bit you see a handful like Easter Town, like St. Patrick's Day has a door, Thanksgiving has a door.
There's like 4 doors or
Yeah.
something in it. And like, to be fair, with all the cultures in the world, that whole forest could be doors.
Yeah, and that's one thing because in that sequence, there's like I think like you probably see about 3 more trees that are probably unseen as well.
Yeah.
And it always made me think like, what other trees are there in this circle? Like, what other ones are there? Like, what is behind each one? I'd love to like see more of it. And I think at the same time, although I'd love to see a prequel or a sequel to Nightmare Before Christmas, this one film is always going to be like one of the greatest films of all time, and it is that single thing. Like to expand that universe, I'd love to see it, but I'm also like I'd be very cautious of it as well. Like, it wouldn't live up to that hype of that first film, in my opinion.
Also, along the same lines, though, thinking about it, like, whilst the prequel could be cool because it's like, oh, how did Jack become the king of Halloween Town? You know, like, what's the process there? I feel like a sequel might be like, I feel like a sequel, assuming it was written or like created shortly after, I feel like it would basically just be a retelling of the same story, but now you take out Christmas Town and it's like, oh, now he's in Thanksgiving Land.
The way that the video game played it out was more like Oogie's back and he's taken over Halloween Town.
That was like in Kingdom Hearts as well.
Yeah, it's a very similar thing where like, and then all the villagers are like all the like town members, like, you know, like Dr. Finkelstein.
Yeah.
And they're like the enemies now. So they're actually attacking Jack.
Oh.
So it's kind of like all of them are kind of like brainwashed in a way, and they're all attacking him. And Jack has this like kind of weird ooze glove, and he like uses a whip basically to like kind of like smack people about. Basically, I like it's been a fair few years since I've played the game, but that's the rundown of it basically.
That's funny. That's funny.
Yeah, I can't remember. I never actually completed it as a kid. I think because I think I was a bit too dumb to understand the controls fully either.
Oh, fair.
I was like one of those button mashing kids where I was just like, yeah, just press a button.
What was this on?
This is on PS2.
It might have been in the era. You know, like some of those like movie tie-in games from PS2 era, like and earlier, are not great controls wise anyway.
No, I don't think it is. I don't think it's like an amazing game either way. I don't think people go through and be like, oh my god, this is the true sequel to Nightmare Before Christmas. It's just like,
yeah,
look, here's a game that they put out literally like about 12 years, I want to say, after the film launch.
Well, I mean, yeah, if it's PS2, yeah, it'd be quite a while after.
I want to try and find like when it actually launched actually. But yeah, like what else, like what, like I'm interested about your thoughts on like sort of like the songs and stuff as well, because I don't know if you're much of a musical kind of person either, so this is
It's funny you say that. I was about to ask you what your favorite song in the film was.
oh, okay, yeah. Ooh. What is my favorite song? I mean, This Is Halloween is like the most iconic one.
Yeah,
I loved Oogie's song as well as a kid. Oogie Boogie was actually one of my favorite characters,
that's a good song.
as well as Jack. Like that, like those two songs. I think This Is Halloween and Oogie Boogie song are probably up there. But as I've gotten older, I've grown to appreciate other ones like Making Christmas as well is a great one, and like What's This is one of my favorite ones. But like Fall Out Boy did a cover of it.
All right.
Like so like I think for like the 10th anniversary of Nightmare Before Christmas, they released a CD.
Okay.
It was kind of like a celebration. It's oh look, more Nightmare Before Christmas stuff. But like it's artists of the time doing their versions or renditions of Nightmare Before Christmas songs.
Okay.
So like Panic at the Disco does a version of This Is Halloween. Fall Out Boy do What's This, and then there's a couple other ones as well. But yeah, I think that a handful of those ones. That's probably like a rundown my favorite. What about you? Do you have a favorite song?
What's This is probably actually my favorite.
Yeah.
The others are good, but like that was just like, I don't know, like I really enjoyed the sort of change in tone and the upbeatness of it, and just like the sheer curiosity of Jack, like, because it is like that's what you would be like, you know. And like I just felt like that was a really good song, because it's just believing with him, like I was on his journey with him, like, what is that? Oh my god, what is this? What is this? What's this? What's this?
It's so natural for us to be like, oh yeah, this is Christmas. There's elves. There's gingerbread. And obviously, all he's known is Halloween Town, and to come into a world where there's actual color and everyone's happy and just singing carols, you'd be like, what? What is this like?
I think my favorite part of What's This though is when he was like looking through the window and he was watching them hang mistletoe, and then I can't remember what the line is. It's something about kiss, and then I was just like, that's just so funny.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's general knowledge, right? Just because he's in Halloween Town doesn't mean they don't know what a kiss is.
Yeah.
Well, I just thought it was really funny that the skeleton's looking through is like, oh, mistletoe. I know what that is. Oh, and they kiss. Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. It's so unique is what he says. It's like, yeah.
It's just funny because it's like, I know what this thing is. I don't see it often.
Yeah.
Or I've never seen it before. I just know of it. But that's kind of cool.
He knows all the words, so it's like the smells of cakes and pies are absolutely everywhere. He's like,
Yeah.
he's that means he's seen cakes and pies before he knows of them. But like Halloween Town must I can't imagine a cake or a pie in Halloween Town. Like,
I can imagine cake, you know, like a Halloween party or like
yeah, that's true. Yeah,
something, you know, like someone might make a cake, Halloween cake, or like cupcakes or something.
everything I think that Halloween, if just judging about how Halloween Town did presents,
Yeah.
imagine a Halloween Town cake.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
I get you there. I like the actual theming, like real Halloween Town would just be like, oh, it's a fucking hodgepodge of shit they found on the floor.
There's worms, there's like literal bugs coming out of it, like
Worms, a poisonous mushroom,
yeah.
like some rotted animal carcass or some shit. Like,
Oh, literally, they love their animal carcasses in Halloween Town, but
yeah, Halloween Town's all about fucking roadkill.
isn't it? I've witnessed several moments where they're like, "Oh, what's in the stocking? Is it a dead carcass?
Yeah.
Is it a foot?" And, like they love just like a disbodied like I don't know, some kind of like hand or like some sort of limb or like some rotting thing.
Yeah,
They love their gross out kind of stuff. They love their like
they do, and it's that's why I think What's This is was a good song, like because it's just the sheer wonderment of it all.
yeah.
And that felt the most like Disney song to me.
Oh yeah, it is because it's like the holly jolly whole aspect of it, isn't it? Like that's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So like Nathan, what are your like overall thoughts of the movie? Like in terms of story as well. Like it is, bear in mind, a 1 hour 15 runtime. It's a really short film.
Yeah, it's super short. Like before I realized it was over, it was like nuts.
Mm.
I know it's probably because 90s claymation and, you know, actual like film, they probably only had so much budget to do everything.
Yeah.
Budget and timing and everything. Like there's probably reasons why it's like that. Overall the story, it's a fairly simple story, to be fair.
It is, yeah.
I wasn't expecting anything amazing because, again, hindsight and everything, like, it's a kid's film.
Mm-hmm.
It's meant to be a Disney film. Like, yeah, it's not going to be super, super long. And I'm not shitting on other films, and I'm not saying in general Disney doesn't do, like, bigger stories. Again, Lion King is just basically Hamlet. But unfortunately, it wasn't a little bit longer. I felt like some sections of the film were a little rushed.
Yeah.
Could have done a tiny bit more. Like the whole Jack coming to save Santa and Sally part was like, that was over really fucking quick.
Like that was probably in the last 10 minutes of the film as well.
Yeah.
All of that section where he takes down Oogie Boogie and like all that sort of stuff. That is probably like summed up in 10 minutes. It's a really quick turnaround. Like,
Yeah, and I think I want that part to be a little longer because, again, hate to keep bringing it back to Kingdom Hearts, but like in Kingdom Hearts, there's a boss fight against Oogie Boogie, and you're on the roulette wheel, and it's long.
Yeah.
It's fucking long. But like, I don't need it to be that long. But like that whole section, I'm just like everything like wrapped up in a neat little bow a bit too quickly. And like even at the end where Santa like fixes everything and Halloween Town, they're like, yay, we're all back. You know what? This crazy. We get our own winter Christmas wonderland. And then Jack goes to Sally. And then it basically is like cuts.
yeah.
And I'm like, I need a little more resolution than that.
100%. Yeah.
That in like, oh yeah, they hold hands and Jack's like, oh, can I spend time with you? Like I realize I don't know why I never noticed before you Sally. And then it's just fade to black, done. Like, you know, film is over and I'm like, hey, what?
Yeah.
Are they not gonna kiss?
Yeah, this is it, innit? It's like, it's one of those films that you kind of just want more from it, like in general. Like, you want, like,
Yeah.
just a little bit, like you said, like, I feel like it could have been padded out a bit more in terms of stories. Like, in fairness, just like, again, watching this this thing on Netflix, I think it's called, like, The Greatest Movies of Our Time or whatever. I'd really recommend watching it if anyone has the time and is a massive fan of this film. Because just hearing all the stuff that went behind the scenes, like, apparently they had a script writer for ages who just wasn't delivering.
Oh.
And I just like, they use like, oh yeah, I'm working on the script, but they never got anything.
Oh god.
For ages. So they had the character designs, they had Halloween Town, and they made all this stuff, but they had no story.
Oh.
And like obviously like Danny Elfman's like there, like I can get songs written, but I don't know what the story is around them to actually finesse them. So like everyone's like pretty much good to go, but like there's no script for the film.
That's like, it reminds me of the episode of BoJack Horseman where they're filming Filbert, but Flip, the creator, like he's writing the scripts like day by day, and he has writer's block that episode, so they just sort of get people, BoJack and the other cast members, to just sort of film random bits. Diane's trying to help out up until she hits inspiration and they have an episode, but otherwise they're all just like hanging around waiting.
Yeah.
And filming random reaction bits. Like, oh my god. Like, that's what that feels like.
Yeah, it's mad. Like there's all the stuff we hear, like, apparently, like, the stuff that they did as well was over budget.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Like, so, like, I think they had a budget of, like, God, 6 million? I might be completely off of that number, but it took them 8 million to actually make the film, and to something that Disney. So apparently the project manager, whoever was on it, like had to actually be like, look, they made the film, but like if you want this film, and you like, and like they had like storyboard bits and filling in bits like that weren't in there, like to make this film happen, you need to give us 2 million more or something like that.
Hearing that now after watching the film, and with, you know, like filling in some sort of gaps from just basic media knowledge, that makes sense that it's over budget, because it's like, it's the 90s, it's claymation, it's stop motion, it's a big production, and everything is designed in a specific way. I'm like, yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah,
that probably also does lead into why it's only like an hour 15.
And that's as well with like Tim Burton has created this, but the biggest misconception with Nightmare Before Christmas is, yeah, Tim Burton created it, but he never directed it.
Yeah, didn't note that down. But on the wiki it literally, his name is just next to created.
Yeah.
And everything else is filled by someone else. He's not involved past that.
Yeah, like he did the character like stuff, he did all like the designs, all that. But like literally the direction was completely like, it wasn't him at all.
Yeah.
And he would come in for viewings obviously and be like, this is how this should happen, this should happen.
Yeah.
Like, so he was overseeing the whole project, but like he was actually making Batman at the same time. So he was splitting his time between Batman and Nightmare Before Christmas. So he like...
Oh, no wonder why Batman feels like Halloween Town. Kidding, I'm kidding.
I mean, Danny DeVito as the mayor, like, it could happen.
Yeah, actually, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not a bad casting.
Yeah, I think like there was like Oogie Boogie was actually supposed to be someone else in disguise as well. I think it was supposed to like someone written an alternate ending where I think it's the mayor that actually is Oogie Boogie.
I could see that from the shape of
But Tim Burton shut that down straight away though. He was like, nah, I'm not having that. Like it's Oogie Boogie is Oogie Boogie and that's it. Like
No, I like the way it is though. I agree with Tim Burton. Like
yeah.
Oogie Boogie has to be his own. But see, that's again going back to like wanting more.
Yeah.
Oogie Boogie barely does anything as well. Like he appears and he's gone as quickly as he appears.
Yeah.
Like that's the thing. Like again, now I know with over budget, all that kind of stuff, like production issues and whatnot, there are certain parts that need more fleshing out than other parts that got too much. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Oh, yeah.
whilst yes, it was great to see Jack divvying out all the roles for the new Christmas.
Yeah.
Some of that didn't need to be there. I feel like you could cut some of that and then you could have given more like Oogie Boogie story or more resolution at the end. Or, you know, like maybe the sequence of Jack fucking Christmas up so much. You could cut some of that too, you know?
Yeah, it's mad, isn't it? Because there are certain parts that, like, yeah, you know that Oogie Boogie's like the boogeyman, but you don't have any context of how he's been exiled to this certain house or whatever. Why Jack hates him?
Yeah, exactly. Like, why is he so antagonistic?
Yeah, like it's one of those ones where, like, you know, like if this film was probably double the runtime, they could fit so much in there in terms of backstory, like other character development, a lot more. There's so much more that you would love to see from this film, but it just because of like the constraints and stuff, you just don't get that.
Yeah.
So, although I will hammer this home as well. Like this is like one of my favorite films of all time. I love so much about it, but this is why I want so much more from it. Because it is like I love it so much as it is, but I'd love to have so much more.
No, I fully agree. Like, it's really good, but it is lacking.
Yeah.
That's it. It's just lacking some world building
Yeah, absolutely.
and a little bit of explanation. Like, that's it. Like, it doesn't feel like it needs too much more. Like, I feel like if they somehow managed to get it to a 2-hour runtime, the extra 45 minutes could really help.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
And even then, 45 minutes, maybe a bit too much, you know? Maybe they only need an extra 30 minutes or so. Like, so it's an hour 45.
Yeah.
But whatever it is, it needs more time. For sure, like it needed a slightly longer runtime just to really get those extra bits in.
I completely agree. Just a little bit more world building, like you said, a little bit more lore, like all that kind of stuff would really like just be like perfect. Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like because it's claymation, it could still move at that pace. Right, but again, in an extra 30 minutes, you could definitely get in a tiny, quick, like, flashback of why Oogie Boogie and Jack are at odds, why they don't like each other.
Yeah.
You can get a little more of Oogie Boogie causing trouble with Santa, you know, a little more of Jack trying to save them. And again, I'm going to keep saying it. My fucking resolution at the end.
Absolutely. I'm 100% on board, Nathan. I'd love to see more of this and like but you never know. I doubt we will ever get any more Nightmare Before Christmas.
No, probably not.
Because it's such a big franchise as it is, and like it's so huge right now. Like just even from that 1 hour 10 film, like it's so big as a movie and it is recognizable. It's so distinct.
Yeah.
But I don't think we'll get any more apart from that PS2 game. That's the only expansion we'll get to.
I don't know. It's probably, unfortunately, like a weird multimedia thing where you're like, I don't know what is and isn't true and what is and isn't canon, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
Oh, this video game, that chunk in this comic, this whatever, you know what I mean? Like, although, you know, never say never.
Yeah.
There's a lot of films getting sequels that you're just like, what? Why that?
You know, Disney Plus is a thing as well, so they could easily like do some like expansion stuff if they ever wanted to.
Yeah, they could, but I don't know. I wouldn't pin too much on Disney Plus.
Nah. I think if we got anything, I think it would be a miracle. Like anything extra for Nightmare Before Christmas, I think it would be a miracle.
Yeah.
But it's cool though. I really enjoyed it. Nathan, as someone who hasn't seen it before, would you recommend this film?
Oh, highly. I would highly recommend it, but watch it as a Halloween film, not Christmas film.
Yes! Thank God. Yeah, it's like, this is one thing, right? This is an argument I have with so many people.
I try to avoid it
Yeah.
I tried to avoid it. I did not want to fan the flames, but this is a Halloween film more than a Christmas film. Okay.
Absolutely. Thank you, Nathan. I appreciate that so much. I I have had so many conversations. When I tell people, "Oh, Nightmare Before Christmas is like one of my favorite films," like, "Oh yeah, it's a great Christmas film." I'm like, "No,
it even says in the title before Christmas.
yeah, exactly."
But also, Christmas, whilst it plays a big part of the film, it's more about the Halloween aspect and
exactly.
Jack learning to be more Halloween. Duh.
Yeah, absolutely.
The thing is, you told me this before. I did ask Pepe,
Mhm.
and even in the previous films episode, you said it's a Halloween film.
Yep.
I always just took your word for it because I never watched it, but now I've seen it and I'm like, no, that's a Halloween film for sure.
Absolutely. Like, it's one of those films, like, I think I used to watch it every single year at Halloween. I still do. I still try and keep to that. And it is a perfect lead up to Christmas as well. I think it's a perfect seasonal movie. To watch it outside of that is a little bit harder. Like, I wouldn't watch this in summer, let's put it this way.
No, saying that, watching it in November, not bad.
Exactly.
Somewhere in between. Like, I literally watch it in between Halloween and Christmas. Not bad.
Yeah. Like, I'd say November is like a good, like, it's a good time to watch it, like what we've done. And yeah, like, honestly, by the time this episode goes out, when's this gonna be? Like,
Probably like in December.
realistically, despite what I've said, look, it's a very seasonal movie regardless. But if you want to enjoy it at Christmas time, that's your prerogative. Don't involve me in it.
Yeah, more power to you. You watch it whenever you want to watch it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But Cultured Boys, stamp of approval, Halloween film, okay?
Absolutely.
This is where we stand. The boys stand at Halloween film.
Yes. Nathan, I'm so glad you enjoyed this film. It's one of those ones where I'm unsure like whether people are gonna like it if they haven't seen it before, but no, the fact that you've watched it now and enjoyed it, that's
I think if you were a Disney kid, there's not that much barrier to entry.
Oh, absolutely not.
It really does just fit in with the lineup. It's just a little more strange is all.
Yeah, that's it. A little bit of quirkiness, a little bit of Tim Burton. Never hurt no one.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that pretty much brings this episode to an end, unless you have anything else to say, Nathan.
I don't.
Yeah. Sound. In which case, it does bring our episode to the end. Thank you for listening, guys. Let us know about your experience with Nightmare Before Christmas. Is it a film you love? Is it a film you hate? When do you watch it? Like, you've heard our thoughts on it, but when do you watch Nightmare Before Christmas? Let us know. And remember to, of course, like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell button for Culture Boys videos, notifications when they're out. It's every Sunday, so make sure you just tune in every Sunday. And you can find us on podcast platforms, links are in the description. We are also on X, so check us out there. And we'll see you next time for another Cultured Boys episode. Bye-bye.
Bye.